Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, I really appreciate every single one of you guys for doing that. And to all the new subscribers, thank you. I appreciate it. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So Honda is, in a very tough spot right now. And what I mean by that is, since we have this new legislations that's pushing EVs to the max, and you guys know my gripes with that pushing the EV, which it is what it is. So Honda announced that they're going to be making 10 electric bikes, which is interesting. There's certainly there's other companies making electric bike as well too that are investing in that. Harley is one of them. I think there was another one called I don't know if it's a Harley Livewire or a company called Livewires, but there's definitely competition when it comes to electric scooters. Now, here's the problem. Here's the biggest issues with electric bikes, and same thing with EVs, but at least EV cars are much bigger and can take up like a much bigger space when you're driving down the road. Now with EVs in the bike, there's a big issue that I feel like it's not being talked about, or maybe it is being talked about, but I feel like it's not being talked about enough, and that is when a motorcycle passes you by and you're in the freeway, you can hear it. Not a lot of people check their side mirrors like you're supposed to check your side mirrors, pretty often, at least a couple of seconds or so. You're supposed to look at your side mirrors. Not everybody does that. So, but when you hear a Harley drive by, or when you hear a bike that's extremely loud, even though your music may be loud, but if you hear it, then you're prone to check. But if it's an electric bike, you can't hear anything. You can't, and that is extremely dangerous. Oh man, maybe I am just worrying about the wrong thing, but I feel like something needs to be said, and this is just my opinion. I feel like it is dangerous, especially if they're not making enough sound, because there's a lot of people that are distracted drivers, and I myself am one of them. One of those distracted drivers. Things happen. We're doing other things when you're stuck in traffic. You may not be paying attention or whatnot. But the positive side of new car technology, where it senses certain things that are around you, which is, good. But not all cars have that. Not yet. We're still transitioning over a little bit at a time. We still have plenty of older cars without those technologies in it. I don't know. I'm going like in it. There's not enough technology in it, or at least there's no. It doesn't have that kind of tech yet. But maybe 20 years from now, all cars will have it, and some of these older cars will be out of productions, or they'll be in the scrap yards or whatever. But there's still people that are going to be collecting some of these cars 10, 20, 30 years from now. But anyway, let's talk about these electric bikes, and I don't know, I'm concerned about it, but we'll see what happens. So let's go check it out. Some of the news. Honda building 10 EV bikes. All right, so here we go. We are at The Verge. Honda will introduce at least 10 fully electric motorcycles by 2025. And I've already, shown you my concern. And I think this is definitely opportunities here. But still, the most important thing, or the least talk about thing, is the infrastructure. It's still not there yet. And adding more electric vehicles on the road and not enough chargers, the grid can't handle it. The grid needs to be retrofitted in order for it to handle this kind of load. Can you imagine if everybody's driving motorcycles, EVs, then you have semi-EVs. Now imagine all those vehicles getting plugged in at the same time. Not that it's going to happen, but imagine if all that gets plugged in at the same time. It would blow a bunch of transformers, just the grid would go down, and it would just be a hell of a time. And then I'll be in my house somewhere laughing at the governor for putting these things out. But anyway, Honda, one of the biggest names in motorcycles, announced that it will release at least 10 new electric models globally within the next 3 years as part of a larger strategy to become carbon neutral by 2040. The manufacturer didn't release any details about a specific model, but said the aim was to reach annual sales of 1 million units within the next 5 years and 3.5 units, approximately 15% of total sales as of 2030. Honda is considered to be the biggest motorcycle company in the world, having sold over 300 million motorcycles since its inception. That said, shifting to electric powertrains will be no small task. The move to electric may mean heavier vehicles and more expensive price tags in the near term. But Honda isn't the only one in the game. There are plenty of other Chinese companies that are also doing the same thing, just like their vehicles too. There's plenty of Chinese companies that are making the EVs cheaper. Now, once they start coming into the United States market, we'll see how aggressive bigger companies will be able to price their vehicles, because the Chinese can make anything cheap. Not that you know what I mean. Everything we have is made in China. Every single technology I have in my house and you have in your house is probably made in China. That's facts. The company points to its Honda e-business bike lineup for commercial customers, first introduced 2021, as indication of the direction it plans on going for its future products. For regular customers, Honda plans to launch 2 personal EV models between 2024 and 2025 in Asia, Europe, and Japan, and the company will also develop electrified mid and large size sports bikes in segments, and it's calling it fun category. Honda is also experimenting with different fuel types, announcing that it will introduce flex fuel gasoline ethanol blend models in India, Brazil, also in India. Honda said it will launch a battery sharing service for electric tricycles, taxis, also called rickshaws, by the end of this year. Honda aims to popularize battery sharing in other Asian nations, while the technology is more broadly used than in the US and Europe. Honda isn't electrifying its motorcycle lineup. The company recently unveiled the Prologue, its first long-range all-electric SUV, which I tell you to avoid because it's being developed by GM and LG Energy Solutions and stuff like that. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend you see the video. Now, I've told you my gripes with electric vehicles. Not really electric vehicles, but my gripes with electric bikes or motorcycles. Bikes are cool, but motorcycles I feel like it's a little bit more dangerous. I mean, the fact that these things are already fast. I would love to own a motorcycle, don't get me wrong, but I would own one that's loud and obnoxious, at least so people can hear me when I'm going down the freeway. So they can move over, because you can split lanes here in California. Certain states you cannot split lanes. I think that it needs to have some sort of sound to them. I think that's one of my biggest issues, because, people are consistently getting distracted, and it doesn't take very much, especially if you're on a bike. You need to announce your presence, baby. I don't know. Maybe they're working on something that we don't know yet, and they will let us know more information. But other than that, let's go ahead and check out their other competition as well too. So when it comes to electric bikes, I think the only one that kind of comes to my mind is the Harley Livewire, but we know that companies like Yamaha, Kawasaki, or even Suzuki, I don't know if they're even relevant in the States, but they're what is it? Yes, the Livewire. This one is available. It's starting at 22,000, which is a little bit steep for a motorcycle, but it will give you 146 miles in the city and 95 in the highway. So highway miles are always jack shit. Charging, DC fast charging, about 60 minutes. That is a long time, especially for how big is the battery on this? Oh, hold on, here it is. DC fast charging uses available public fast charging. DC fast charging using a standard J whatever, 0 to 100% in about 60 minutes. And then if you got the level 1 charging, uses the included charge cord, plugs into standard 110 outlet, 11 fucking hours. Oof. You know what's funny though? because on my EV, when I use the DC fast charging, I can go from literally from, I think the last time I checked it was like from 14% all the way up to 80% in about 16 to 18 minutes. So I don't know what the limits are, but my car can, DC fast charge extremely fast. I think the fastest I've seen it was like 280 kilowatt, and that is extremely fast. And then, so here's another company too that's selling electric vehicles. Oh, I'm sorry, electric vehicles, electric bikes, electric bikes. Now, I'm not sure how they work. With with regular bikes, you have your clutch gears and all that, but with the e-bikes, I wonder if it's just you just crank it and you go, because it doesn't really have any. There's no shifting needed, just like the electric vehicles. You just put it on drive or whatever and you go. That's it. But some companies are trying to develop ways for you to shift an electronic motor, which is different, I guess, but it's definitely different. Um, yeah, so the live wire, that is I wonder how it sounds like. I might have to research and see how it sounds like, because for me, that's like, when it comes to safety, I think that should be, obviously you're in a two-wheel, it's more dangerous. There's a lot of risk involved, but the fact that you can just kind of like go extremely fast, but it's super silent. So like I said, a lot of people don't really pay attention when they're driving down the road. So you just got to be cautious, especially with these e-bikes. That's just my opinion. I feel like, but just the regular bikes, the regular ones that are just loud, you can hear it, and sometimes, they will rev their their motor, so you know that they're there, so you can move out the way. But I got like pretty good at noticing motorcycles, and I always try to move a little bit more to the left, so give them a little bit more room for them to split the lane and share the road. But we'll see where the future lands when it comes to electronic bikes. Just like we will see what will happen with the EVs as well too. We're still in the early stages of the change over, moving from gasoline engines to fully electric. But I feel like, for me, I think if you've seen my other videos and you've seen me talk about the fuel cell, I think that's definitely an option, considering EVs can't tow for shit. So just my thoughts. And another thing that comes to mind is the pricing. Is how expensive are these going to be priced? So there's a couple of different companies that are going to be showcasing their electric bikes for the near future, and I can't wait to see what they have to offer, because the more company make these electric vehicles, the more competition it is. Guess who wins in the long run? We as consumers win, because then they're competing for our money, and when they compete for our money, we come up ahead. Remember that. So let me know what you guys think about the future of motorcycles. Are you interested in it? Do you have a motorcycle? And are you interested in a fully electric one? And if you are, what are your concerns? Because for me, my concerns would be safety, driving on a highway, charging, and range. I think range should be number one, but yeah. But anyway, I will catch you guys on the next one. But yeah, Harley Davidson pauses production for 2 weeks on all models except for electric bikes, electric motorcycles. I really want to hear it. I'm going to go Google it right now as soon as I'm done with this video. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.